After years and years of stalled development, Nioh finally settled onto something that actually worked when they put Team Ninja in charge of its development and took inspiration from the Soul series. It's a path that has finally seen this long development come to an end, and the game is actually coming out next month. The one thing that has really stuck throughout, though, is setting the game in Japan and having a blonde-haired, blue-eyed samurai as its lead character, based off the real-world historical figure of William Adams. The big difference to William Adams is that the William in Nioh can see the mythological demons and spirits known as yokai, and he doesn't even need a watch to do so. There's a lot of common ground with the Soul series, such as having to explore the world and facing the same enemies time and again in the same places whenever you return to a shrine, whether you do that voluntarily or from having died, and there's also being able to then recover your dropped Amrita by getting back to where you last fell, and so on. If you're on PlayStation 4, perhaps the most noticeable difference is going to be the graphics. You have the ability to choose between playing at 4K on a 4K TV or with higher quality 1080p graphics, both at 30 frames per second, or you can also choose a 1080p mode at 60 frames per second. It's this action mode, as they call it, that is featured in this video. The most noticeable difference for the gameplay, however, comes in the combat, as Nioh introduces high, medium and low stances, each of which shift the balance between offensive and defensive strength, and you're able to switch between them on the fly. With both square and triangle then giving you different weights of attack, you can put together different combos. Of course, those moves all change depending on the weapon that you're holding, and you have the ability to quickly switch between equipped weapons. You've got 2 melee and 2 ranged weapons to choose from at any given time. All of the weapons in the gear, by the way, are handed out in a Diablo-esque fashion with slightly randomized stats and different rarities. Another interesting layer is with the ki pulse. Ki is effectively your stamina, but as you land hits, a swirl of fairy lights surround William before contracting back into his body a second or two after your last strike. Tap a button at just the right moment and your ki will recharge much more quickly. That's a pretty big deal, but one thing that I never actually got the hang of whilst playing this game for a couple of hours. I'd always forget to try and do it, or not manage to pull it off at the right time, and to be honest, my stamina management in Dark Souls games is pretty terrible. I'm always trying to get just that one extra hit in. Run out of ki and you are obviously a sitting duck, you're slow to move, unable to defend yourself very well, and since blocking attacks actually saps your ki as well, you are just weak. Even if you're not taking hits, holding a block makes your ki recharge slower, so it's often an advantage not to have your sword up and have it at your side so it recharges more quickly. As always, any fight that you can't end in a matter of seconds turns into this tense little dance as you look for and try to take advantage of any opening that you can spot. Every enemy has their own particular style of attack, whether it's a human soldier with a spear or a hulking shadowy yokai with wide sweeping attacks. Yokai always seem to be placed in some of the most awkward places as well, but the level design is such that you can spot them perhaps and maybe backtrack, pick a different path and find different routes through the world to the boss at the end of each level. If you do fight them, be aware that they can create pools of ki-sapping darkness that can only be dispelled by killing them or actually managing to pull off a ki pulse within this pool of darkness. But not all yokai are bad. You have your own guardian spirits to help you in your journey, taking the form of a wide variety of animals. There's everything from sinewy Asian-style dragons to bats, spiders, through to werewolves, tigers, and a pair of adorable Shiba Inu pups who were by far my favourite. One nice touch is that if you fall, they will stand guard over the Amrita that you dropped, and you have to try and get back to them to reclaim this without dying and without their help. If you've got them by your side, they boost some of your stats, and once you've been able to power them up, you can press a couple of buttons together and be able to call upon them to infuse your weapons with their power. It makes you much, much more powerful and much more resistant to damage for a good few seconds. Saving their power until the right moment can turn a fight dramatically in your favour. Going up against the end boss in this level, which was a demonic transformation of Ishida Misanuri, I actually hit my brick wall in terms of difficulty. I'm not afraid to admit it. It takes me a long time to get back into the swing of the Dark Souls or Bloodborne games whenever I do try and do so. I just couldn't figure out a way to beat him at all, though admittedly much of this will be down to my own over-eagerness and lack of forward thinking. But with the Shiba Inu pups, they called the paired Riken in this game, they got me well over half of the distance just on their own on one occasion. It'll be interesting to see how it pans out in the final game, because I was admittedly given a high-leveled character which was very well fleshed out, but I feel that Dark Souls fans might turn up their nose at having such powerful abilities. It kind of feels like a cheat almost to be able to just wail upon an enemy. Not that it doesn't feel incredibly good to finally be able to cut loose and just smash them into the ground. We will leave you with a few more minutes of Nioh gameplay, but that is all that we have to say for this video. Head over to thesixthaxis.com for our written impressions and an interview with the head of Team Ninja, Yosuke Hayashi. And finally, be sure to subscribe to our channel and let us know if you like this video, if you have actually done so. We will hopefully see you next time. Goodbye!
恥を忍んで落ち延びた。ここで撃たれるわけにはいかぬ。ケリー殿の錬金の極意によって太閤秀吉様を復活させる。忠義による清廉な世の礎を。
あんたにはせいぜい時間を稼いでもらうとしよう。
I will resurrect the most brutal overlord of them all.